Well, welcome everybody to an episode of Views. Another episode of Views from the Bridge.
You got there.
That's the first time I messed this up like all season long. It's your second favorite podcast about your favorite team, the Philadelphia Union. Evan, I hope you're doing better than the way this podcast has started tonight.
I mean, we don't have time. Hey, but the Union won. And Justin, it was really, there's an international break. The teams, off for a week or two, depending on your country of origin and what they did with you. So you're just trying to, ease your way into an international break. But apparently, didn't quite get it over the line. But yeah, doing all right. About yourself. A festive sort of last break before this long stretch of games to you, my friend.
Yes. Yeah, no. I'm happy for the break. I'm kind of happy for the break this weekend, but I really don't like that it's like 3 weeks into the Premier League season because I'm like just getting back to like, Saturday morning coffee on the couch. And then it's like, oh wait, we don't have games for a week. It's like
Yeah,
this just messes up my whole routine. It just messes it
right,
up.
right. It's like I want to wake up, watch a little bit of the Championship, Premier League. Maybe if I'm feeling kind of cheeky, go downstairs. There's an Irish pub on the corner of the street. Have a Guinness. Watch the Premier League, and then right into being a psychopath and watching MLS.
Yeah,
What's wrong
sounds
with
like a
that?
perfect Saturday
Now
to
I
me.
have
Yeah,
to.
yep.
Now I have to watch the national team. No, thank you.
No, it sounds like a weekend without soccer is happening in my house as well.
That's exciting.
Anyway, well, that's not totally true because the USL Championship is still
There you
in
go.
play, so
There you
we'll
go.
still
Yeah, go
we'll still
support your
watch
local.
that. But the Riverhounds have a weird Sunday afternoon game, which I'm like, on the
All
first
right.
week of the NFL season, you have a Sunday afternoon
Oh, true.
game
Yeah.
in Oakland.
Okay.
Like, what is that? Anyway,
All right.
you already mentioned the Union are now 5 points clear in the Eastern Conference, sitting on top of the table, which I can confidently say no one expected that at the beginning of this
Yeah.
season. But that is where we find ourselves in this game. After a interesting 1-0 defeat of FC Cincinnati. Yeah, any major kind of overarching thoughts of this game against Cincinnati?
Yeah. Other than the fire department putting out Chicago after last week, I guess I don't know. Yeah. Uh. I guess I'm glad that for as bad as I feel like the Union have always played when they're up a man, they play just as good when they're down a man. Um, we probably should have had 3 goals in this one, and admittedly, Cincy probably should have had 1 or 2 themselves, but that's not how that goes. We won, and that was kind of what we wanted to do in this game, and we did it, so that's exciting. I get to go another week doing this podcast this year where I'm like, there's Bruno Damiani. This is what we paid for. And to be fair, dumb header. Not too many people could finish that in the league. Hey man, stick around. Score another one when we come back and play Vancouver, maybe. Uh, become an away goal merchant, perhaps, the back end of the season. And then, yeah, Macania, it's a shame that was a second yellow, because it sure was, but it was not going to be a straight red, so that's unfortunate. And then I'll talk about him here later, but that's like the Andrew Rick making up for all of our previous backup goalkeepers game.
Yeah, for sure. I think Andrew Rick needs a large portion of the credit for this game remaining
He
1-0.
for sure.
He the save on the free kick in the first half that looked like somebody was going to get ahead on it, but he maintained his composure and then was able to get down and get it. There was another one where he had to dive to his right side as the goal was coming in and made a sick save on that one too. Those were 2 of the best saves I've seen all
and
season.
and then just
And Blake's made
really
some good ones too.
clever, maybe not clever, but smart. Same idea. Um, of just not conceding as many corners as he could have done the second half. I think there was 67th minute. There was a ball that took a deflection that was going to go wide, and he was able to get to it before it went out. And then there was Brenner at some point. I think it was Brenner. They hit a really nice curler that was just going wide, and he didn't, get after it with a palm to give them a corner. So, yeah, again, we have a whole thing set up for that later, and I'll talk about it more then. But like, I think I saw Tansy at one point posted like, this is a new experience having a backup goalkeeper that can actually win you
Can
games
actually
or
play.
at least not implode. Yeah, yeah, yeah. When he's called on, because for as good as Dre's been, this has always kind of been the thing where he'll get hurt and then, well, okay, we're going to lose 3-0 every week. And now it's, all right, that's Cincinnati. And if Andrew can stay in there and make saves and get us, out with a road win, then I don't think we're worried about what happens post Andre Blake anymore. Again,
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I think um I don't want to get into this too much and we can talk about it later, but I think I started to see the rumblings on social media this week of like, is this the game where the switch happens? Like, do you have to
was the
think
torch
about that
being
for next
passed?
season?
Sure. Yeah, yeah.
And I don't I don't know that I'm there yet. But I think
Okay.
the challenge has been for the union is how do you keep these guys around? And you couldn't keep Mumath, you couldn't keep Matt Freeze, you couldn't, like you've had these who we thought the torch was going to be passed to type players that
Mm-hmm.
now, and now Dre's been here for what, 10 years, 12 years, whatever it's been.
Something like that. Yeah.
And so you go like, all right, so now it's like you can you keep it feels like it's right about the time of can you keep Rick around long enough if this isn't the off season where the torch gets passed. And you would think that if the Union go on to win the Open Cup or go on to win the Cup, does that trigger Blake to be like, yeah, I'm good, done the thing. Um, but if that doesn't happen and Blake says, man, I want to play another season, can you keep Rick around long enough to eventually pass the torch type deal? So, um, you mentioned the goal. The goal was a little, that was wild.
I don't get it. I still don't get it. I've watched it a bunch. I don't. And it's not so much that he gets the ball, right? Because like I don't know. That's a header that I've seen people. That sounds facetious. That's a header that I've seen people not in front of goal hit before, right? Like middle of the field kind of stuff that happens. For him to
Yes.
be able to actually get power behind it to kind of nudge it past Celentano, um, is I think what makes it crazy
Yes.
because
Yeah.
I can't wrap my head around it. I would love to have seen it in person from the field because that's the only way I think I'd be able to kind of compartmentalize what happened. But yeah, a weird contender for like goal of the year in some aspect because it's just so out left field. Um,
Yes.
and then yeah, there's one or two chances Ty Bariba wants back, I think, from that game. But
Yes. Baribo's had
a
several of
win is
those
a
over the
win.
past couple of weeks from
It's true. A
Jack
win is a
Elliott
win.
gifting him one last week, and then this, and yeah, it's
This week at
Jack.
the far
He needs
post.
to score. Yeah.
A win is a win. Our goal differential is so high anyway. We're not worried about that part. So no harm, no foul, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah. It feels really good to be kind of where we are and what's currently happening this season, how many games left, all that kind of stuff. And how many more wins can you get? But how many teams are going to catch up from 5 points behind at this point in the season? It's it's not often easy to make up 5 points. It's more often than not harder to do it when there's only 6 games left in the season or whatever there is. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
And Cincinnati has a
Um,
fairly difficult run into. We'll move on, but they're not
yes.
necessarily playing the worst of the worst. from here on out.
No, they're
Neither are
definitely
we, to
not.
be fair, but they do not have an easy schedule where you look at it and go, well, there's 6 points there,
Yes,
at least in succession.
yes, yes. And with having beaten them twice already this season, you got to feel like
Right.
some confidence
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff.
You
So
did everything you can do head to head, so that's nice.
absolutely.
Let's do it.
Yeah, you kind of made the comment off air a few minutes ago. Are we going to remember that Makanya is suspended when the lineup comes out 2 weeks
No,
from now?
no, I'm not. Nope.
They'll be like, wait, where's Makanya? Why is he not
I'm
playing?
gonna
What's
text both of
happening?
you and be like, "That's a weird lineup. What happened to?" Oh, right.
Oh, right. The red card happened.
The consequences of our
And
2-week-old actions.
But that's after we watch the U.S. men's national team play twice and probably lose both games.
You're
So,
overestimating what I do in my free time.
well, I'm not saying we're okay. I'm not saying we are going to watch them. I'm saying
Oh, sure. It's like the
the
options.
we, as in the U.S. soccer landscape, is going to watch them, and then we're going to forget all about Makanya.
Got it. Yeah, we'll be too busy crashing out over those results or whatever.
Yeah. So without a game this weekend, I thought after talking about Cincy, well, and the other thing is Chuck's not here, but I asked him a couple weeks ago why he didn't think we could beat Cincinnati again after beating him 4-1 at the beginning of the season. So they proved you wrong, Chuck. I'll just say that much. They proved you wrong.
It's always nice when we get to serve a little bit of humble pie to the guy that literally got flown out to Germany to cover soccer last weekend.
That's
That's
true. I think he's still
always.
on Germany time. He's still on Germany time. That's why he's
Probably,
not
yeah.
here tonight.
It's
I forgot. Yeah.
like 3 a.m. here or whatever. No, it's
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah. He already went to bed
Actually,
a
no.
couple
It's
hours
funny. It's
ago.
his week to be mad at Verizon. So Evergreen
Yes.
not going to be a sponsor of
Evergreen.
ours. Verizon. Yeah.
Right. Right. Evergreen content there.
That was in the cards
Verizon.
too. If anyone's
Awful.
asking. Yeah. So anyway, we were really wrong about how things were going to go this year, and so was everybody else. And you, of course, took the time to go dig up some articles and things from the beginning of the season. And the good news is everyone was consistent, I guess.
I did. So the Union are sitting in first place. The current record is 17-6-6, with 49 goals for, 26 against, which gives us a plus 23 goal differential in the league, sitting on 57 points, and we're now 5 points ahead of Cincinnati in the table, 7 points ahead of third place, which is Charlotte and Nashville, tied on 50 points apiece. So that's where we are. It was interesting looking back at the beginning of the season. I think for our podcast, we kind of said, hey, we kind of expect maybe it would be really nice to actually make the playoffs, not have to play the playing game, and actually be in the playoffs, which I think that was our fair kind of assumption as we headed into the season.
And now we're here.
I won't necessarily call anybody out, but on MLSsoccer.com, the list of analysts who predicted the table predicted 11th, 11th, 14th, 12th, 11th, 9th, 8th, 13th, and 8th. Thank you to Kalen Kyle and Bradley Wright Phillips for having a little bit of faith in the Union that they would actually make the playoffs this year. But we're sitting up in first place, so
I will say
that's where that
it's
goes.
you very polite of you to be professional and not name names. I'm just gonna say if you want to find it, not hard. But also I don't want to do the Austin FC like let's use those picks as like bulletin board material because that was dumb. Yeah, I think kind of. I mean, we were a little more optimistic on the Union this year than a lot of other people, and I think that's also just we don't get paid to cover every team in the league. Insert joke about every team in the league. But also, I think we're able to say if you're not in the playoffs, you're a failure of a franchise. with the expansion that happened, and that's never going to come from anybody that's on the league's penny, let alone dollar. But this has been crazy. Actually, at the end of the game against Cincy, they did the whole shot of Bradley Cardell, who my one critique of this year, infinitely less stylish than Jim. But again, if that's the trade-off I'm taking it. Where I forget who was on play-by-play, but they mentioned that his goal this year was to basically have the team be relevant, uh, and now we're here,
Yes. That
and
is
mission accomplished, and then some.
mission accomplished for sure.
Because not
Um,
every year of our existence we've been linked to a treble, and not had it been completely sarcastic. So there's that.
yeah. Just reading through some of the MLSsoccer.com, the preview article for the season, the strength of the union that they mentioned was the union's willingness to dig into their academy and shop on the cheap overseas means they basically never run out of bodies.
Correct.
Plus, in Daniel Gazdag, Ty Baribo, and Mikel Ure, they have 3 double-digit goal scorers. Not bad.
Yeah, funny. What happened to the first guy? Where's he at?
Where is he at?
What happened to?
You
Did he
could
miss a shot the other night in Columbus? Probably would have put away.
substitute Milan Olaski for Daniel Gazdag, and you almost have it. You almost have it.
Yeah, what a
Um,
wild. Do we want to go back and just tell people that's happening in March and just see their reaction? We invent short-term time travel and be like, all right, so this guy is absolutely unconscious right now for San Diego. He's gonna leave. He's gonna come back, and he's gonna become one of the biggest impact signings this season. Hooray! Yeah, crazy. Had
what a
another
fever
great
dream.
game against Cincy. I don't. It's wild. Yeah, jeez.
Yeah.
No wonder we bought
Uh,
off Montreal to make it happen.
there you go. The weakness of the Union in this season was supposed to be that those 3 guys, Gazdag, Baribo, Ure, haven't been match winners in the biggest games. The defense kind of fell apart last year and a lot has relied upon their ability to identify and develop undervalued players. This has become less effective throughout the 2020s.
Very fair. Uh, yeah. Uh, I no. I think there's still something to be said about maybe not having. All right, because I wanted to. Now I want to get into our mid-season awards before I really get on that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's because it's related.
Yeah, I would. The only thing I would say is I think Baribo has proved that he can score and he can score in big games. Um,
Yes.
the addition of Damiani has also helped with that a little bit. Um, the defense, multiple people put that on Jack on Glesnes on last year. I think we have figured out it's not Glesnes.
No.
It's not Glesnes. And so Glesnes has kind of returned to his defensive prowess and all of that kind of stuff. And then the ability to identify and develop undervalued players has seemed to work out for the Union this year, I would think. Just going back, continuing kind of through this preview article, key departure is Jack Elliott. I would he has been
I mean,
replaced.
yeah, it
Um,
was a big loss, but that's
Leon,
and I think to your point, like Glesnes has definitely gotten a step back, but A, he's not hurt this year, which is helpful. B, we're playing a system that actually lets him kind of hide a little bit more, which has also been helpful. And then we have last year there wasn't if we had Lukic and DJJ in front of Elliott and Glesnes, I I don't know. All 4 of those guys is
you
100%.
don't think
No
of
one scores against us. That's crazy. Um,
yeah, for sure.
so yeah, it's none of it's inaccurate, but it's not quite right in the way that it probably was lining itself up to be this year.
Yeah. Other 2 other key departures, one being Leon Flock. I would that's probably the first time this year on the podcast I mentioned Leon Flock. Um, so
Key departure is a
I
bit of a stretch too, but
who's
I get
who's
it.
that? Um, and then Jack McGlynn was the other one, which you could say what you want about McGlynn. He didn't fit this system, but it is what
Yeah,
it
I mean
is.
he is
Um,
a key departure. Again, the system that we have now doesn't really have space for him. I think you're more upset that he departed to a team in the league and not for more money than he probably will get here in a minute. But
yes,
that's not player related. That's
yes,
agent and transfers and politics and all that fun stuff.
for sure. Key signings: Bruno Damiano. We've talked a lot about Damiani. Ian Glavinovic, who is down for the season,
Yeah,
and it'll be interesting to see. I had forgotten until reading this article that he's on a year-long loan, so it will be
yeah,
interesting to see
yeah.
if we trigger that purchase. And then Jovan Lukic was the other one. Um, Lukic, I don't think anybody expected him to be what he's been.
No,
So
Glavinovic is tricky. I think if you're the Union, you're probably asking around at Newell's and going, "Can we try that again, please?"
yeah, yeah,
Same terms, everything, just because we didn't get a good look at him, and I'm sure development wise, Newell's obviously didn't get much out of it. So hey, can we, let's just roll it back and same terms. If you want us to pay a little bit more because the market changed, then we're happy to. But none of us got anything out of that initially due to the fault of nobody. He probably would have been your third center back, obviously. So it wasn't like he wasn't in the plan. That's probably an end of the season
yeah.
discussion, but
I guess my question would be: do you do that, or could you try to buy him on the cheap? Be like, well, he's hurt, so like, can we have him for way cheaper than you would actually want to sell him for? Um,
I don't.
or do you just go find somebody totally new, knowing that they're going to be your third center back anyway?
Right. Yeah, that's the other part of it. I just think unless he was absolutely putting all of your forwards in his pocket during training, which I don't trust as it is, I wouldn't. I wouldn't buy him unless it's for like
Yeah,
nothing. Unless he is like
yeah, for
absolutely
sure.
out of contract with everybody, then you bring him in on a free. But yeah, I like literally anything more than like half a mil, I'd be like, thank you.
Yeah,
But
yeah, for sure.
so
So that was kind of the preseason expectations that we had, and kind of where we felt like. So
and we're
anyway,
so wrong.
want to talk? They were so wrong. Thankfully, they were
We're all
so
so
wrong.
wrong. Yeah.
Um, want to talk a little bit about just highs and lows of the season so far. So, the two questions that I had were best performance and worst performance of the season.
Where do you want to start? Best or worst?
Let's do best first.
Either, ironically, when we beat Cincinnati 4-1, or I picked two. The Open Cup quarterfinal match.
Okay, okay.
I think four to
I
one
think
Cincy because it's like when this is our system and it works, this is what this looks like. Isn't that fun? And then the quarterfinal is just kind of that gritty Philly Union, you know, never say die attitude. And it was against that team that we don't like very much and we like to beat a lot. Yeah.
yes.
So those were the best performances.
Yeah, I I would probably agree with that. I was going to say the 4-1 against Cincy, I think was mine, just because that was kind
It
of
was
early
fun.
on in the season. Thought like, oh, this team actually could be good, and like, who knows what Cincy is, but this team actually could be good. And so I think that was probably part of my feeling on that one. The only other one that I throw in, and this is kind of a little bit of this kind of a little bit of a cheap grab. But I think the back-to-back 3-0 wins against Atlanta and DC uh,
Oh
were
yeah, that was
kind
a
of
fun
like
stretch.
a string of games that, and then we beat Montreal 2-1, which wasn't as good of a game, but the way that they, the way that they dominated Atlanta and DC 2 weeks in a row just kind of put a stamp on like, no, we're at the top of this conference. You two teams are in the middle of this conference, and here's why.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The
Because we're
Chicago
just straight up
win
better.
kind of felt like that too, which I didn't want to pick that because it was a little bit of recency bias. But any of the games where everyone's sort of been like they probably should win this if they really want to establish themselves. Oh, we won it this year. That's crazy.
Yes, for sure. Yeah. So I think the 4-1 Cincy game is probably a fair shout, though, for the best
what
game of the
was
season. How about worst game of the
yeah, I was
season?
gonna say, let's see if we're aligned. What did you go with?
My struggle was recency bias,
Sure.
and feeling
We're,
like the game against Red Bull was probably the worst performance of the season.
no, no,
But
no.
then I was also
You're
thinking, but and then I was also thinking back to losing to NYCFC 1-0
funny.
early on in this
Okay.
season, and that
No,
one didn't feel good. That didn't feel good either.
little lest you forget, and I know why you didn't think about it, but it's because how we lost. But when we lost to Nashville on the 5th of July, after being up a man for about a half hour, and then to lose on a penalty, not great.
No,
Not great. That felt like your
no.
classic, script writing MLS conspiracy. The no one likes us, we don't care kind of vibe. There. So I didn't actually have to think about this one too hard because I think that was pretty much the that's so Union sort of oh hey look we're up a man we're gonna play like garbage and then Nashville's gonna steal it because even at that point even a draw like you kind of convince yourself like all right a point here we're on the road whatever it's Nashville whatever like that's fine I can take that. Nope. Rug pull.
Yeah, I would agree with you. That was a bad one. That one hurt quite a bit. Um, and I think especially because it came off the back of the loss to Columbus, that sort of felt the same. It didn't feel as bad because we weren't up a man and all that kind of stuff, but it was kind of the
Right.
same. It was kind of the same deal of a late
Absolutely.
goal, but it
Yeah.
but it wasn't. The performance was not nearly as bad. Yeah, I'm just hoping. I think I'm just hoping we get our we get our own against Nashville come next Tuesday night or week and a half from Tuesday.
There you go.
That we can come back
See, you
and
already forgot about
all
it
right, cool. You beat us. You beat us twice in the season, but we beat you in the game that matters.
there and then always the bridesmaid never the bride. What if we
Absolutely.
lifted one? What if
This
we
is the
lifted one?
year. What if? What if?
I feel like it would fix me. I'm gonna be honest. I skipped class for the third final that we lost when I was in college. I listened to that in my car on the radio,
Nice.
desperately just hoping that we would win, and then it didn't happen. So, if anyone wants to know why I didn't graduate, it's that third Open Cup final loss, actually.
uh,
So do we
yeah,
want to?
no.
I know Chuck is threatening to join us, but do we want to get on to the player accolades for the year, and then when he comes in, we can rapid fire him with these questions.
Yeah. I think we
Look
can
ahead to
do that.
September, October.
All right, so those were the games we thought. So I think best game of the season was probably the 4-1 against Cincy with some other games around there. The 1-0 against Nashville loss in the middle of the season felt pretty bad too. So those are kind of the best and worst games of the season. So I'm going to talk about players a little bit. So I think both these conversations are fairly interesting. So I think the first one that I'd ask is MVP of this season. Uh, who you think would be the MVP of this season so far?
I don't think this is necessarily that tough of an answer to be honest. So going back to me not wanting to talk about why, we need a more clinical finisher. If Ty Burrito doesn't leave and then get trapped, sort of in, I'm gonna politely say Western Europe, uh, to avoid talking about, it's a little bit of a shame, I guess. He plays for Israel of all countries in the current climate that we're in. If that doesn't happen to him and he gets stuck for longer than he should have done for reasons, glad he's safe, all that fun stuff. He's in the lead for the Golden Boot race right now, and he's probably cementing himself as the MVP of the league. All of that stuff happened. He missed some time. Go to hell, Sam Surridge. But yeah, he's been. It's a team that's always been one very clinical finisher away from big S success in the soccer landscape in this country. And now we have that, and it's even crazier because the dude couldn't get off the bench for like a whole year, and I feel like we wasted an opportunity there. Does he have a better supporting cast around him of people that are probably going to pick up some of these arbitrary awards that we're going to talk about? Yeah, for sure, and that helps because he doesn't have to be the guy. But on any other team in this league, he's like the number one forward, except for maybe Nashville. But I guess Nashville and San Diego, and then Miami, which almost doesn't count. But you put him on pretty much any other MLS roster, he's one of the first names, if not the first name, on the sheet. And so yeah, so far, no doubt, Ty Burrito, MVP. I will hear other opinions. I know they exist. I contemplated one or two of them, but
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I think I I agree with you in a lot of ways. I think yes, Baribo, where he is in the Golden Boot race, what he's done for Philly, finishing goals, all that kind of stuff. Like all of that's absolutely true, and I think like I have no problem being like Baribo is the MVP. What I what my what my feeling about MVP of teams has always been is a little bit different than I think a lot of people think about it. Um, and so let me explain myself. I think there are times where people think about the MVP as the best performance of the season so far, and I think Baribo, no doubt, like best performance of the season so far. But what I feel like an MVP is, or one of the ways I think through MVP is the most valuable player. And so to me, it's like that's the player that you can't replace. And to me, I I don't think you can replace Jean Jacques or Lukic. If either of those guys in the games where one of them haven't played, we've looked not as good as when
yeah,
both of them are there and both of them are in the lineup. And so their stats aren't going to show up. Like that's the hard part is you can't base it on like, hey, here's a stat that's going to prove to the world that Lukic is the best player on this team or that John Jock is the best player on this team. But I do think when we don't have them, like you definitely notice that they're not in the lineup.
absolutely. Returning from assignment, also this week's recipient of the Verizon Wireless Wants Me to Go Kill Myself Award, it's Chuck Booth. Chuck, welcome to the exclusive club of you and me and anyone else that wants to do this podcast and this podcast exclusively. Before you give us your midseason picks for MVP, surprise player, breakout player, we haven't gotten to surprise or breakout yet. Instead of asking you if you have any thoughts about Cincinnati, because I feel like those are going to be pretty, eh.
I mean, I
Uh,
messaged my thoughts about Cincinnati. Just
that's very true. That's very true. Do you, off the top of your head or otherwise, have a best game, worst game from this year? Justin
God,
and I both
uh,
picked the same best game.
I think God. So I think the worst game might be Houston,
Fun,
Ooh.
fun.
and like trying to not like go well actually, because I feel like there's a couple of answers to the best game, like because you had
I gave two.
did they all happen in the past month?
The
No.
one did.
The one
Because yeah, I mean both the Open Cup quarterfinal and like Chicago is also up there.
I thought about Chicago. I didn't do it. I did. We did 4-1 Cincy because you have to at that point.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
That is fair.
anytime you get to beat them by that margin, when
And
you're still trying to figure out if your team's good or not, it's nice.
that's the equivalent of scoring like 8 goals on
DC,
Chicago. I mean,
same
I
idea.
feel like considering like going that way, even though they weren't as good as we thought they were gonna be, um, Orlando is also up there because that was like the why do they keep passing the ball to the Union? And then
Oh yeah,
you realize like, oh, that's the season now.
I
That's
forgot
that's what
about
the
that
Union
one.
do to almost every other team. The only other
Because
ones
Yeah, that
that
was a fun game.
and Orlando was like truly the start of like, oh, we might have something here.
Yeah. Okay.
the only other game
And
that I
then
threw out there was kind of cheating because it was 2 games, but was the back-to-back 3-0 wins against DC and Atlanta mid-season, because that was
Yeah,
when I felt like we finally like stamped our foot down and we're like, no, we're top of the table team. You are a mid-table team.
they're just not good enough.
I know that's the hard part about that.
yeah, which is why we rightfully treated them like they weren't. And then Chuck, if you had to pick an MVP so far this year, you came in on Justin being halfway through his double pivot, uh, filibuster, which is a very fair point. But
MVP is Quinn Sullivan.
Really?
yeah, that was the other name I had.
Who
Explain yourself.
does it? Because who?
Justin's offended. You
I
picked
love
a midfielder, but it wasn't my midfielder. How dare you?
Like, when you look at every member of this 11, who does this team perform the worst without them in the lineup?
Well, Justin's going to make an argument for Lukic or Jean-Jacques.
But
But
Bueno has been a valid replacement for at least one of them. If you lose both of them at the same time,
right.
then yeah, the team doesn't know what they're
But it's
doing.
not most valuable positions. That's not what we arbitrarily decided on.
When Quinn Sullivan isn't out there, Kai Wagner is still your only creator, and this team gives balance that it does not work.
That's a great point.
Until these past 3 weeks.
He's been out there.
I know, but Olowski's doing a pretty good job at creating. So,
well, Westfield's job is easier when Quinn Sullivan's on his side of the field.
Yeah,
it is true.
Yeah,
it is true.
Chuck, I picked Baribo, which is the easy choice because look at those goals, baby. But
yeah, I mean, like
we've needed that.
More to talk about any other player than
that's fair.
Yeah.
Well, good news. We'll move on to surprise of the season and breakout player, so I can talk about anybody else.
All right, Chuck, you haven't gotten to go first about anything so far, so tell us your biggest surprise or breakout player of the season.
You've already kind of mentioned it, and it's Frankie Westfield, because going into the season, we thought it would be like great if he was part of the rotation, and now we're sad every time he doesn't start a game. So I think that like it says a ton just about like how far he's come, how quickly, and he, despite the fact that apparently Nathan Harriel's getting USMNT caps, which says
he's more so good.
Which says way more about just like Pochettino's choices of who gets USMNT caps.
Yeah, and I mean, Poch isn't even playing him at the right position because Vancouver Whitecaps game center back Nate Harriel.
That is also just weird that he has actually been better for this team this year as a center back than a right back, and I don't like this right back rotation is just strange.
Not great.
But Frankie Westfield has been the best of the three, and it's not even close.
Evan, I think I know who you're going to pick. Why don't you go ahead?
Well, is this the surprise player or is this the breakout player, Justin?
What's the difference?
Me, they're the same.
I don't know. Okay, great. Well, then I would like to give a lot of credit and also eat some pie of the humble variety, which is not my favorite flavor, but I'll do it. When the Union announced that Ryan Ricker was going to be head coach of Philadelphia Union 2, I went, oh, that's cool. My friend still has a job. Now they have a playoff spot. So whoops, sorry about that. The development that they've been doing this year has been incredible. I don't really think we've seen a non-generational talent-led group of academy kids playing for the second team place themselves in the first team so seamlessly like this before. And I know that is credit of a lot of different people in the organization and not just some guy that I've known for like a decade that coaches the team before they get to the first team. But everyone gets credit for that. So our surprise of the season, yay, development team. Player wise, my dumb, weird, young, blonde adjacent gentleman that played goalkeeper when Andre Blake hurts himself, or right back when we need a first choice right back, Andrew Rick and Frankie Westfield, have been so good this year. And I was even like, no, they're going to be good this year, but like not with the minutes that they currently are playing, where they've just been good and like good and not good on a scale, or not like good for Philadelphia Union, but like good, like a very positive wins above replacement good.
Wait, have they been good?
I think so. I think so. And again, I have been on the Frankie Westfield hype train since before the season started, so you're all welcome. But I was definitely not expecting this, and I don't think anybody else was, except for Frankie Westfield and Andrew Rick. But they're so weird that no one probably took them seriously. So here we are with these fucking weird kids, and we're stacking dubs and all that shit. But if they play good soccer, they can do whatever the fuck they want to a camera after the game to put on Instagram. So, yeah, good for those boys. Long may they reign.
All right. I will give you guys Westfield. That is fine. My two were gonna be Andrew Rick and Makanya. Because I think
Sure.
we all expected Ian Glavinovich to be in the center back spot right next to Glesnes, and
No.
Makanya has
Whoops.
done just fine.
He was still he was still supposed to take a step forward. I mean, he definitely is like he's an interesting one because he's probably up there with Bueno for most improved.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Is there a shout for Indiana Vasilev? I know he still does things that frustrate people, but like as a glue guy midfielder, hold on, to go from key departure Leon Flock in March, I didn't say it, to Indiana Vasilev, who like can actually contribute and Swiss Army knife and like play a pass or two occasionally. I don't know. That's been nice.
I just don't know what to do with him. I mean, I know
That's
I know
okay.
he's
Bradley Carnell does apparently, so that's fine.
but I just don't know what to do with Indiana Vasilov. And I've kind of given up on trying. Like he's out there, he things they are useful. They're just weird. But, like this team's winning, so like whatever.
That's a great scout report.
Because I mean, like even with like Daniel Gazdag not working under Carnell, like no one thought that you're going to just replace him in the lineup with Indiana Vasilov and be fine.
Well, no, and that's why you go out and you buy Milan Alaska.
Yeah, who now is actually starting games and being useful in them.
Yeah, works out.
That's what, Chuck, we said earlier in the episode. Like, can you imagine going back to the beginning of the season, April, early May, and being like, oh yeah, by the end of the season, Milan Alaska is going to be starting games for the Philadelphia Union.
Hey,
dream that would have been.
Credit to Ernst for actually making moves within the league and then being useful.
I'm glad that Ernst Tanner remembered that Montreal has a team and that he should pay them to move up a spot. And then we got a nice thing, and it's working.
Yeah, it's working just fine. All right. So MVP somewhere between Baribo and some other players, and Quinn Sullivan. I'll give you that. Biggest surprise, I think Frankie Westfield is probably the easiest pick there. All right. So wanted to look ahead and think about the rest of the season. We have 5 games left. We're sitting 5 points clear in the table. I don't know. What do you guys expect to happen over the next 10, 12 weeks?
Home field advantage means at least an Eastern Conference final. I'm not going to go crazy on the playoff front. There's that. I still hate to continue our trend of 2025 thank you scheduling and before that the quarterfinal is a best of 3. It doesn't do what they want it to do. I don't think anyone's like, oh my god, the suspense of this. It's like, no, just who cares? Like, if you get stomped 4-0 away, you're not gonna come back home and nope. Okay. Anyway,
Yeah. No,
home
I
field
mean
advantage,
really,
Eastern Conference
it really
final.
it makes it useless not having it home and away aggregate because
Right.
it
It should be
should be
2-1.
over. It should just be over after you win by a lot of goals. But yeah, no, I mean the good thing for the Union at this point of the season is they're gonna have played fewer games than most of these teams, just due to not being in Champions Cup and League Cup. So that really does heighten that they should go on a run in the playoffs. Um, Especially considering that, like, as of right now, in the like, they would get one of the New York teams in the
Mm-hmm.
playoffs, and it doesn't really matter which one. The Union should beat them in a best of 3 series.
Yeah.
After that, it's just like kind of like, please not Nashville. I think.
Yeah.
No,
And
Nashville.
hopefully Suarez and Busquets get suspended, and then Miami just like can't do anything.
Correct.
No. We're gonna get back Nashville in this Open Cup game, and then that's gonna open us up to beat them in the playoffs. So it's gonna be fine.
I just hate playing them. I
I
don't know. I
know.
Me
know
too.
Same.
But
No one more than us.
we have them right where we want them right now.
God, there's nothing that says I'm really excited for us to make a deep run than playing Nashville potentially twice. Right. More Nashville games. Thank God. I love the 2 players on their team that are good and everybody else.
It's really funny how every podcast we find a way to just lament about which team we hate playing that week.
Yeah. Which is funny because I love so many of the people that cover that team, but I hate the team that they cover. Hi Ben. And then I said for the Open Cup and the Supporter Shield, we're at a spot where like we're talking about a treble and it's not funny. I would be so happy if the team lifted a thing that people care about that cannot be rebutted with, well, but what did you do in the playoffs? So, like, Open Cup, that's cool. MLS Cup, that would be fun. Or, conversely, if we win the Open Cup and the Supporter Shield, that would be pretty neat.
The Red Bull double.
The Red Bull double gives you wings. And then my hot take is that if we win the Open Cup and we have home field advantage mathematically locked up before the end of the MLS season, everyone gets to play the Philadelphia Union 2 the remaining games of the regular season. And some of those teams might still lose.
That's not going to happen.
Well, but I want it to happen. And I think I talked about this in 2022 and it didn't happen. So,
like, I mean, you have to win Open Cup. Like, you have to. Like, because nothing, even though, yes, winning MLS Cup would be great.
Yep.
It's still a lot more work to win MLS Cup than it is to win 2 games and win the Open Cup.
2 games.
And the amount of, like, awful history in those finals that just, like, lifting that Open Cup erases, that, like, even, like, let's be real. Like, even if the Union win Supporter Shield,
our name's already on that.
Like, cares? Not, like, it's an achievement, but, like, the way MLS has set up their entire trophy hierarchy, Supporter Shield just doesn't matter. And the previous time that the Union won Supporters Shield, one, because it was the first trophy in club history, and two, because they didn't have a real trophy and they had to actually like turn a Captain America trophy into the supporter, is just a lot better than anything that would happen if they lift Supporters Shield again.
I adore that supporter shield is in the suite entrance. By the way,
No, it's just amazing. But
yeah, it's so good.
What I would say about the supporter shield is, as long as we don't lose it to an Eastern Conference team, I'm fine that we don't win the supporter shield. If we lose it to anybody but San Diego, I'm gonna be real upset
which
that
I
we
mean,
lost supporter shield.
Yeah, which it would take a little bit to lose it to anyone but San Diego.
Miami would counter you with, they still control their own destiny.
What San Diego does?
I said Miami fans would counter with, they still control their own destiny.
Yeah, sure, but no one cares. Like, who will talk to me when we know who of your team can actually play for the rest of the season, and also when your 35-plus-year-old players can play 3 games in a week, because you're gonna have to do that like twice.
That's true. That's true. I'd love to hear a bold prediction for the rest of the season.
How many goals? I didn't think about this, but this is how you know it's a hot take. How many goals does Bruno Damiani have right now?
I don't. Do I want to know the answer to this question?
We're about to.
He has 5.
It's so close. Yeah, fine. You know what? You wanted a hot take. He ends up with 10 this year.
Playoffs or regular season?
I think I'm gonna. The Open Cup counts is my protection here, but I think in the run up before the playoffs, he ends up with 10 goals.
Okay.
I'm hedging my bets a little bit by including the Open Cup, but I think we need some kind of like weird, that guy is gonna like turn it on for us and become like a cult hero, and Bruno Damiani might be that.
All right, if you're gonna count the Open Cup, he has 6.
So he needs 4. I think he can actually get 5 without I think he can make it an even 10 in the next 8 games.
See, that's close to what I was thinking, and that's just that Baribo breaks 20. I wanted to go and say Baribo actually wins the Golden Boot, but Messi has games that he still has to play, and he's already on 19.
Yeah.
But like, out of non-Messi players in MLS, Baribo will have the most goals.
There you go.
And that would be passing Sam Surridge on 20 currently.
Mine's not going to be that bold, but I think it could be fun.
You wrote bold predictions.
Yeah, come on.
I know.
What was this? It wasn't bold with fun prediction.
No. All right, listen, just hold on. It might be bolder than I think it is. I think end of the season, Quinn Sullivan leads this team in assists.
Doesn't
sound that hot. He's 2 behind Wagner.
9 assists, or did he? Yeah, that's not. You said he needs 2 assists.
Yeah, but
he needs 2 more than what Wagner's going to get. 3 or 4 assists between now and the end of the season. Don't get me wrong.
Will he? Yeah, he hasn't had an assist in a while.
Yeah,
I think he still gets.
There you go, Chuck. You just set him up to get like 6. I thought Justin was going to say something crazy like hot take, the Open Cup final, the Union somehow managed to come out in the black and white Bethlehem Steel kits.
No.
Adidas drops a 3rd kit for the Union, and it's Adidas.
That one. Kai did get one against Chicago, but that's his first in the last 4 games. Which it's funny when that's not a lot, but also he started the season with 4 assists in his first 5 games.
Yeah,
yes.
So I hate Brian Gutierrez as a concept.
Wow, that was a change of. Anyway, my other could be how long. I just don't know the number to put it behind it, but I'm thinking the number of games that Andrew Rick starts between now and the end of the season.
Oh man,
I don't mean end of the season as in end of the regular season. I mean end of the season.
Sure.
As in between now and December.
A better question is Andre Blake on this team next year?
We talked about that a little bit at the beginning of the show, that I had just seen the rumblings of what do you do with Andre Blake next year. I think it heavily depends on if we win MLS Cup or not.
He starts the Open Cup final. You win the Open Cup. He lifts the Open. You make it to MLS Cup. You win the MLS Cup. He lifts the MLS Cup. He lifts another Supporters Shield. Hey, curtains. Good job, Andre. Andrew Rick's your starter next year. Any of that stuff doesn't happen. Weird conversation. So like, give him and Ale their you want a thing? Thank you, front office.
I will never say that Ale is done with this team, just
I know.
because we've been burned way too often having
I
that.
know. My hot take is that we win something and he immediately goes and coaches for the academy or something, or becomes a scout.
But yeah,
and I'll say that
I mean,
in 2033 when he's still not retired.
It definitely does feel like the writing's on the wall for Andre Blake, and like MLS is a league that doesn't incentivize you paying goalkeepers. So if you have someone like Andrew Rick that you literally don't have to pay, that's doing a serviceable enough job, it's tough because like this team's not allowing goals, like
Nope.
at all. Like you don't get to a plus 23 goal differential by accident.
Yeah, I mean, they're giving up less than a goal a game, which is what you want.
What was their rate in the record-breaking year?
I don't remember.
Because I'm pretty sure they're ahead of it right now.
I think it was higher. Because I think the trade-off was like, we'll score more than you, but we'll give up a couple every game.
Wait, never mind. No, they only. Geez, that was insane. In 20, because so they only allowed 26 goals total in the entire season in 22.
Never mind.
So they would like, just to equal it, they would need to pitch shutouts the rest of the way. Which that like just revisiting, that's insane.
That is insane.
Like that really does put that into perspective, because like I don't believe a single team in all of MLS is within 5 goals of the Union's defensive record currently.
So like they've all conceded 30 or more, basically.
Yeah, Vancouver is next at 31.
Okay. That is what we think about the rest of the season. So,
give us your hot takes.
I think we kind of answered question of what would success look like by the end of the season ends as well. So I guess I'll just wrap up.
Trophy.
We need a trophy. Yes, I think that's what we decided. Any other thoughts on Cincy, the season, kind of where we are? I'm sure we'll have some more thoughts and questions next week, but any other thoughts as we get out of here tonight?
Just a reminder, McConaughey is suspended for the game against Vancouver.
So when he's not in the lineup,
yep,
we'll know.
Don't panic. He's fine. Second game.
Nate Harriel's gonna roll
center
in
back. Nate Harriel, everyone's favorite United States men's national team center back. Nate Harriel playing center back for the Philadelphia Union. God, man, what a player pool to pick from there. Good job.
Hey, guess what? The World Cup is next year, and Nate Harriel's still on the U.S. men's national team.
Great. Union World Cup representative poster boy in the city, Nate Harriel.
If he makes the World Cup squad,
that's
Union have to sell him so fast.
Oh, like the day he gets announced to the squad.
Yeah. $3 million. Who wants him?
Yep. 2.5. We'll pay 17 Academy kids for the rest of the existence of this franchise before you even figure out that he's not that good.
There you go.
All
right. Well,
send us stuff.
At VFTV Pod, let us know your thoughts. Both the first team and the second team have clinched their playoff spots, and we'll see where they end up in the table as we move forward. But we'll see. We have 5 games left of the regular season. We have an Open Cup semi to play, and hopefully an Open Cup final to play, and then we'll get to the playoffs and all that kind of stuff. So all of that's still happening. We're glad that you're here. we're glad that the season is still happening. So let us know what you think at VFTB Pod, wherever you can find us on the internet, and we'll be back with more Union content very, very soon.